This week,
2 teachers battle climate change,
an indoor skate park,
a PSA over seasonal depression,
and teachers' past careers.
All here on the MWHS Wildcat News.
Welcome back, Wildcats. I'm Caitlin Reynolds.
And I'm Miguel Paredes-Reyes. Science teachers Dennis Geringer and Justin Higgins have been working hard throughout their careers to not only educate students about climate change, but also help maintain the wetlands area here at Millard West. Social media manager Brooke Silva and I talked to them to learn more about their environmental efforts.
Last month, the United Nations met in Glasgow to discuss actions that need to be taken against climate change. Here at Millard West, 2 teachers have taken it upon themselves to not only do their part to help their community, but also educate students on things that they can do to make this world a better place.
Well, you've got to also recognize we're all in this together. If we don't all start working together, and we can't have 30% of the population basically saying it's not real, we're all going to start having to use less.
Millard West is home to its very own pond and wetland area with many species of plants and animals. Both teachers spend countless hours throughout the year to make sure the ecosystem is properly maintained.
I have taken over the task of being, I refer to it as the chief worrier for our wetlands area, our pond and native grasslands. I put a lot of hours in during the summer, during the fall and the spring, cleaning, cutting, composting, maintaining. It just takes, for a natural wetlands area, it takes a great deal of effort.
Geringer and Higgins spend time informing Millard West students about the effects of climate change and what they can do in their everyday life to improve the environment.
Well, we learned a lot about climate change and the impacts, and we also talked about the different solutions such as changing to renewable energy sources such as wind and solar power. And what I took away from it is, how to be more environmentally friendly.
While being environmentally cautious isn't always the most convenient or easiest thing to do, it's the sacrifices we all have to make to take care of the only planet we have.
Well, if you've seen my tiny little puttery car where I drive around, you think I'd like to drive something a little bit bigger. It's just I personally feel I would have to actually buy some sort of carbon credits or something in order to drive a car that didn't get the 42 miles a gallon I get right now. And I will drive that car into the dirt. I have been carrying around the same cell phone since whenever the 6s came out. What is it, 7 years? But I put a giant case on it because I'm not going to replace this phone until I absolutely need to, because I don't need to be proving how awesome I am by having the newest cell phone.
If you'd like to learn more about the effects and impacts of climate change, as well as what you can do to improve the environment, environmental science and AP Environmental Science are great options. Or join the Greenhouse Club and Eco West.
It's hard to imagine that you as an individual can make a difference, but it's small things like turning the water off when you brush your teeth, turning the lights off when you leave a room, use your bike more than your car if possible. It's all the small things add up, because it's not something that's out there that's going to make a difference. It's doing what you can do and then doing the next thing.
As the weather turns cold, outdoor skateboarding becomes less of a possibility. Culture House provides a safe haven for skaters to hone in their skills inside. Staff reporters Nolan Nemitz and Colin Rabaya dropped in to the grand opening and have more details.
Skaters around Omaha were pumped to head over to the Culture House. On Saturday, November 13th, they hosted the grand opening of the indoor skate park located off of 24th and Biney. Entering the house, there were black historical figures on the walls and colors of red, green, and yellow to represent the Pan-African flag to show a part of African culture and the Black Lives Matter movement. There were tasty homemade treats, vintage clothing for sale, and live art being created, all to celebrate the event.
I had a really good time there. There was a lot to do. There were people doing freestyles. There were people skating to earn cash, vendors selling stuff. I think my favorite part had to be the music, because they're just playing all the songs I enjoy. It was loud, but it was fun.
Kids of all ages brought their skateboards, rollerblades, and scooters to enjoy a new space to let loose. In the park, they had ramps, rails, and staircases for the skaters to practice and perform new tricks. Throughout the night, cash prizes were given out for completing very advanced tricks, one of which included ollie over a street barricade. However, many were just excited to have an indoor park so close to home.
I might come here often because it's the only indoor skate park in Omaha, and I don't want to go all winter getting rusty and then come into the summer have to relearn stuff or go all the way to Lincoln. So now I have two options. So I'm really happy about that. Oh God.
The Culture House is a fun community hub that also provides artists with a space to grow their talent and express themselves. It is open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday to practice all year round.
I think it's going to be really good for the community. I think it's going to bring a lot of people together, especially during the winter when you can't normally go to skate parks and skate outside. It's a spot where everyone can go and stay warm and still skate inside without ruining their board or getting wet.
This has been Nolan Nimitz and Colin Rabaya from the MWHS Wildcat News.
Remember to turn in your contributions to the Holiday Child fundraiser to your Quality Time teacher. Gifts will be collected on Wednesday, December 8th.
With the winter setting in, staff reporters Sadie Smith and Olivia Ray bring you a quick public service announcement on seasonal depression.
As the winter season draws closer, many students start to show signs of seasonal affective disorder, more commonly known as seasonal depression. According to the American Academy of Family Physicians, about 20% of teens suffer from a mild to severe form of seasonal affective disorder. There are a few theories as to why such a large percentage of teenagers struggle with seasonal depression, but most experts think it may be because seasonal changes disrupt the body's circadian rhythm, the internal alarm clock that regulates when we have energy. Symptoms of seasonal depression include having tiredness or low energy, sleeping more often than usual, and loss of interest in activities.
Luckily, there are many solutions to help you combat these feelings. If you are noticing signs of a seasonal affective disorder, it's important to prioritize social activities. Studies have found a relationship between social isolation and depression. Finding creative ways to stay connected with others is important. Additionally, exercising frequently is a very effective way to combat seasonal depression. If it's too cold to exercise outside, try using a treadmill or stationary bike. If you think that you or a friend may be struggling with seasonal depression, it's best to reach out and ask for help.
While teaching was the goal for most teachers here in the building, there are some who had other ambitions before deciding to go the education route. Co-executive Stripe producer Logan Mosley and staff reporter Nolan Nimitz take a deep dive into the lives of our very own staff.
Teachers all around the school didn't just get an education in teaching, but rather lived a part of their dream in the past. From exploring the passion in music, coaching, and being a part of the Army National Guard, you'd be surprised what your teachers did before they taught. For social studies teacher Ryan Mosley, it took a spark from his friend to ignite his passion for the guitar.
A good friend of mine played guitar freshman year in high school, and he started showing me how to play guitar, and then I got my own and just kind of took off from there. I started learning to play guitar in the early 90s. You know, it was all about Metallica and starting to get into some of the grunge and Pearl Jam that was coming out.
From the twang of the guitar to the clashing of pads, social studies teacher Chad Young has much more experience in coaching than you may think. He was given a special opportunity to join the coaching staff at UNL as a player, and even got a varsity letter his senior year. During the historic 1995 season, he was a part of a team that allowed just 174 total points on the season and won the national championship.
My last 3 years of college, I was on the team the first 2 years. Almost transferred to a smaller school to play, but they knew that I was getting into teaching and coaching. They offered that position, and I helped the defensive back coach, so it was fun. It was the 3 years. The 5 years I was there, they won 5 Big 8 championships and 2 national championships, so that was fun to kind of be a part of.
PE and FCS teacher Rachel Nordhus isn't your average teacher. She works hard training in different camps, aspiring for a challenge and going to different places across the world. That's why she joined the Army National Guard, to be part of something bigger than herself.
Being a first-year teacher, I feel the Army National Guard has given me so much confidence in just kind of throwing myself into different situations and being confident in my education, my skills. And part of this program, Officer Candidate School, it's a 12-month-long program, and we're assigned to different leadership positions, different leadership roles, whether we're platoon leader or platoon sergeant, and we're in charge of our soldiers assigning out tasks, and we're given different tasks, different missions, and it's our responsibility to complete the mission, complete the tasks, and taking that leadership role, and if the mission fails, it falls back on you as a leader.
This isn't the end for these teachers in their careers, as Young still coaches for the Millard West football team. Nordhuse is still enlisted in the ANG, and for Mosley, he leaves an opportunity for staff affection to return.
Anytime. I talked to Mr. Davis and Mr. Keith quite a bit, occasionally, about bringing it back together again, and someday maybe staff infection will reappear.
For the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Logan Mosley and Nolan Nemitz.
If you'd like to check out the rest of our content, head to our social media and our online website. For the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Caitlin Reynolds
and Miguel Paredes Reyes. Have a good Thanksgiving break, Wildcats.